evening and welcome to Hub City Deli. And tonight it is the home of the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. And I'm going to tell you what, we have a great show. Coach Bullard's here with us, who, he's going to work a little basketball with us too. And he's a multi-talented man. And we've got another fine young man. Hadn't had him on before, but Coach Will Reichert. And I have to remember not to call him my coach with a Tom Reichert. We're going to have a great show tonight. We've got 3 interviews. Got one of our middle school football players, 2 of the men that make it happen in the dirtiest place in the world, and that's on the offensive line. But they do a great job. They play defense too. And we've got a lot of people. We got Jackson Christian people. We got people from other schools. We are even blessed sitting in the audience tonight. Back in the back is the host of the Y'all Show at Grace Broadcasting, John Rawl, who his show is heard nationwide, and it's about not just the South, but he's talked about us too. So we're drawing all kinds of good people. Coach, great to see you after a tough loss.
Yes, sir. We came up short Friday, but we saw some good things and saw some things that we can correct, and a couple of mistakes on defense, and we'll get it fixed and make those adjustments. But our kids played hard. Our kids really got after ECS, and when we left there, I think we had the respect of those guys.
Coach Reichert, this close. This close more than once.
Yes, sir. And you hate saying there's such thing as a good loss, but it was good for us to learn when you go and play a team like that, you have to execute in every single aspect of the game. And a team like that, when you make mistakes, they're going to take advantage of it. So it was good for our kids to see that and learn from that and move forward.
Well, it's a learning thing. And moving forward, that's the key thing. Both of you coaches, so many times I've learned, I thought the fans understood the concept of, you can think about that game for a little bit. You can watch some film and get your mistakes and correct them, but it's next game theory all the way.
Absolutely.
And even riding the bus back, it's time to start next game.
And even more so when you get to go the first game of the region, and you want to start off with the win, and we were thinking from the time that game was over, getting those mistakes corrected, but also looking forward to Harding Academy and what we can do to go 1-0 in the region. That's what we're going to try to do.
Absolutely. And Coach, let's let Coach introduce himself. Tell everybody who you are, what you coach at Jackson Christian, and what you teach too, because this young man's just not a coach. He can teach.
Yes, sir. So I've been at Jackson Christian now. This is my second year. I coach offensive line and inside linebackers, and I teach English, high school English at Jackson Christian.
High school English. I'm in trouble tonight. Well, from psychology, we're talking about people reaching the Popeye point. That's the reason fights from time to time break out on the field. Popeye used to say, that's all I can stands, and I can't stands no more. Mm-hmm. Our senior English teacher at Northside used to get all over my case. That's not good grammar. I said, but that's what Popeye said. She said, I don't care what Popeye said. Coach, remind them what you teach too.
Right now, I've been Bible, and I've got 2 study halls, but my main focus is middle school assistant dean of students. So I get to spend a lot of time with the 6th and 7th grade with behavior and things like that. So I spend most of my day
I'm
doing
going to say
that.
An extra prayer for you tonight.
I appreciate
Discipline
that.
is one of those things that I've had some of that job before. Got to say this. Is it just Bible or is it broken down? I liked it when I took Old Testament and New Testament in college.
It's a focus. It'll be a specific focus for that year. So it just depends on what the rotation is and what age group you're teaching and all those things. But it's thought out and planned out.
And I'm sure you took Life of Christ too.
Yes, sir.
Subject. I love that. 3 of my subjects. We used to have to take 4 subjects in college, and I'm sure that Freed had something similar.
Mm-hmm.
We won't mention my college because it's not Freed, and I'm Freed Hardeman's boy. Coach, what's the biggest parallel between teaching English and coaching the offensive line?
Oh, man, that's a tough one, Coach.
Yes, it is.
I like to think that football is representative of life in a lot of aspects. Just the idea of doing the little things right, in any class really, but especially in English class, if you don't learn the fundamentals, if you don't learn the basics, then it's impossible to execute on the bigger assignments, the bigger picture stuff. And if that doesn't correspond to offensive line, then I don't know what does. If your footwork's not right, if your technique's not right, you're not going to be able to execute on Friday nights.
Absolutely. Coach Will Reichert, you've got an outstanding situation as far as where you are an alumnus of. Go ahead and reveal that.
Yes, sir. So I am a 2009 graduate of Harding Academy. I actually coached there, too, for 7, 8 years after college. So I'm very familiar with the opponent this Friday night. Yes, sir.
Very familiar. Now, I want both of y'all to give us an evaluation of last week. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know the score said 21-0. I almost feel like we didn't lose. I really do. We're inside the 10 twice. We're at the goal line. We had a costly fumble and some things. We played a good football team. They've got plenty of talent.
Absolutely, and they're a year in, year out, one of those Division II opponents that is going to be in the mix. And we try to take that into consideration, and he mentioned it earlier, Coach mentioned it, we're not into moral victories, but when you can take the positives from that and know that a couple plays here and there, and we're right in that ball game. And like I said, our guys stepped up to the occasion and, had a couple guys out and a couple guys fill their spots. And it hurts you. It hurts you when you're close, but I'd rather be there than on the other end of it. And so we've worked this week. We've watched film. Those guys know what they did, and it's time to move on from it and learn from it. And in that same spot this coming week, hopefully they'll make the right play, and we trust those guys to do that.
Coach Riker, your assessment of the game.
Absolutely.
And I know you had to be proud of some things that your boys did.
Oh,
too.
Absolutely, Coach. Coaching in Memphis for several years, I'm familiar with ECS and their program, and Coach Adams over there, he does a great job. That'll be one of the most physical, well-coached teams that we play. And the fact that we went out there and fought, and especially my offensive line, they were incredibly physical. They matched their physicality. So, like Coach Bull said, lots to learn from, obviously lots to correct, but I was very pleased with our effort and our intensity. And if those things are right, we can fix the other stuff.
Let's talk about some of our young men. And, Coach, I'm going to hold the award till after we talk about this.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, I'm going to let you handle – I've got a new term for him. I had some help. Boy, he's created his own following. Somebody called him Tacker Smash the other night. And then there was a Tackler Smash that was sent to me. But I'm going to let you talk about there I go. I was about to say Tacker Nash.
Well, Tack, looking at our stat line here, 9 solos, 2 assists, 11 total, and 4 tackles for loss. And that 4 tackles for loss really sticks out to me. Because that was kind of something his focus was on this year. He was in there last year to make plays, and maybe was just a step behind, got a hand on a running back, didn't finish the play. But, Coach, the other night he was finishing the play against a good running back and a good offensive line. And he had we have some – in a win, you still try to find those positives and want to point out the guys that in a loss played well. So, and Tacker's one of those guys.
Yeah, he's gotten a step quicker, hasn't he?
He is. Yes, he is.
He is. And that, you know what? He's got the heart. He's got the size. And except for if he was a little taller, there'd be some – there's plenty of schools beating on his door because I've had conversation with some that's called me, and he's taking his visit. But the D1 schools would be knocking on his door. But sometimes – I know about that. They hold hype against you, and I'm shorter than Tacker is. Coach, what about Jalen Mose? I know he's a back, and your guys have to block for him, but it must be fun to block for a guy that's got more moves than a hula girl.
Coach, he makes us look good a lot of times. He really does. I would say this about Jay. He's got the talent, and a lot of times you get a young guy like him who's had a lot of success. Sometimes that can go to his head. But if you watch Jay in practice, if you come to practice and watch him, every rep is intense. He's soaking up the details. He's being coachable, and he really embraces the game and all the intricacies of the game. And that's what impressed me about Jay. I know he has the talent. We can watch him and learn that, but just how he approaches practice every day, it really impresses me as somebody who doesn't directly coach him. So I think he's a fine young man, and I'm glad he's a part of our family, definitely.
And before we get the Southern Capital Award, and that's the Southern Capital Player of the Week, which is given each week, and it's picked very fairly because it is picked by who comes in on the Twitter account, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
You can't get much more fair than that. I've called him a blue-collar worker, hard-nosed. I have gone back and watched our tapes. He's more than that. Campbell Scott, I want both of you to talk about Campbell. This is a tough kid.
Once again, 9 carries, 84 yards, and against that defense, against that defensive line, he just runs hard, and he's just a guy that continues to get better. He's relaxing and letting the game come to him, and kind of playing free and easy. And he's a kid that we're very proud of. And it couldn't happen. We had him on, I think, after the first week, and couldn't happen to a better kid and a harder worker.
Coach?
I just love Campbell's approach to the game. He's such a servant leader. And that's why when I love talking about our kids outside of the off the football field. He's such a servant leader. He carries equipment off the field. He's coaching up young guys. He has a truly humble approach to life, and that translates to how he approaches football. And if he gets 3 carries in a game, he's happy. If he gets 20 carries in a game, it's whatever helps the team win. And you can't overvalue guys like that on your team. And it's such a blessing to have a guy like that who we can come in at the end of games, who's got fresh legs, and can just finish out the game for us. So.
Truly a young man that team, together, everyone
absolutely.
accomplishes more.
Absolutely.
He's bought into it. But you know what? We've had kids buy in. Most of our kids buy. I'm going to be honest, right now I'm seeing a total buy-in. This is a good team. They're fun to be around, just like these 2 nice young men over there. And then we got some good ones coming up, like Brother Vaughn over there that
Yes,
we're going to
sir.
talk to in a minute.
Absolutely.
Coaches, are there anything we need to finish up? Now, we'll talk about, and folks, don't leave after the young men get through their interview. We're going to come back and talk a little more about the upcoming opponent. It's a region game, some things like that. We're going to talk about the middle school. We're 2-0, right?
Yes,
middle
sir.
school.
Yes, sir.
And had a game like scrimmage because West Bemis couldn't play their regular game. You got to be excited. Both of you do. There's a couple of linemen down there.
Coach, when I leave middle school games, it's hard for me to sleep at night. I get that excited about watching those young men go out and perform, and I think about what they're going to look like in 2-3 years. I'm truly excited about those guys. I think about guys like Tristan and Lucas and some of those other guys. They're going to be big-time players for us, for sure.
I'm thinking about hiring Tristan Lucas as my bodyguard.
It's not a bad choice.
When I go into Memphis and stuff. We play Thursday night, and we play at home, or do we have to travel to Gibson County?
We are at home versus Gibson County. It's our 8th grade night, so we're going to honor those 8th graders.
Oh, yeah. Big night.
So
it
should be a good night at our field, and we'd love to have everybody out and come support these guys.
Oh, I think we should too, and get out and support our girls soccer team too. I know they've won some tough games. They lost one the other day. I saw the score on it, but they also did a great job against Tipton Rosemark. The passing was excellent, and of course, I've played soccer, but I didn't like it because I couldn't use my hands. And if you can't use your hands, I have trouble with that. My feet don't always want to go in the same direction the rest of my body does. But we've got a very fine girls soccer team. The cross-country team, it's kind of a legendary thing. It's a quiet sport, but get out and find out about those kids, because Jackson Christian, going back almost to the inception of the cross-country team, we've had some dandy cross-country teams. But Thursday night, you got great football here in Jackson. Don't miss our middle school. Be there or shame on you. And then Friday, it's going to be tougher. Coaches, I'll let y'all tell people what the exact situation is. We're going to play football Friday, just not at a time everybody thinks it's convenient.
Yes, sir. So we're kind of calling it the matinee. We're going to go at 3:30, and there's an official shortage with that association, and we worked on a couple different times, and that's the one that they settled on. That's the one that we settled on, and Coach, we'll play whenever. And so we're going to go down there and get the kids out and play at 3:30 and perform and trust that our kids are going to be ready to go. So they just some ticket information. They're not doing GoFan, so it'll be a cash at the gate type deal, and so it'd be kind of a normal gate, I guess.
But
we're excited.
Complaints about GoFan.
Yeah, a little bit. So.
Well, I'm glad. You know what? If the 3 of us had to go down there and mark the field off, we're going to play football.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell you what, let's do. Let's take a timeout here. Gary, let's take a 2-minute timeout. And when you come back, you're fixing to hear one of the finest young men, and he's kind of like Jalen. I watched him the other night. We did one of the middle school football games, and he runs like that pendulum on a clock and stuff. And if you hit him and go for him this way, those hips are going to go the other way, and he's going to run all over you, around you, through you. And I thought he was going to dive one time, but we want him to keep his feet on the ground because you get hurt diving. But he is a great young player. And we've got some questions for him, but when we come back, Brother Mason Vaughn's going to be with us, and we'll take that 2-minute timeout right now. We're at Hub City Deli, and you're listening to Jackson Christian Football Recap Show.
Hello, folks. This is Gary Deaton, right here at Deaton's Carpet One. I want to let you know we've been in business for 48 years. Here's what I believe has made the difference. Our lifetime labor warranty on everything we install. Our healthy living installation, bacteria and germs cannot survive in our new flooring. Our beautiful guarantee, if you don't just love it, we'll replace it. It will make your flooring experience priceless. We're located on Freedom Highway, 1000 Highway 45 bypass in good old Jackson, Tennessee.
27 years ago, a vision became a reality and Snookum Steakhouse officially opened. We cut our steaks in-house and our ribeyes are full of flavor. The steak trimmings are used to make our certified Angus beef steak burgers, so when you order at Snookum's, you are getting high quality. Enjoy our salad bar and mini dessert. Also try our famous family recipe, the Pink Lush Fruit Salad. Come visit Snookum Steakhouse in Henderson, Tennessee. We are open evenings Tuesday through Saturday but closed Sunday and Monday. Snookum Steakhouse, come taste the difference.
We are a team composed of highly skilled physical therapists with new school treatment approaches and old school customer service principles. We are a community presence because we know our foundation rests in relationship building and involvement. We are leaders in this industry and we're putting in time daily to develop that aspect of thinking. We're more than a business. We're a team composed of individuals governed by a set of core values. We're more than a physical therapy company. We're a movement in the profession. We are your premier physical therapy team in West Tennessee.
Buying a car is all about you. In person, over the phone, or online, we make it simple and easy. Our place is yours, no matter where you live. LonnieCobbFord.com or Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country. At Lonnie Cobb Ford, we now give you a warranty for life on the engine and transmission. That's right, a warranty for life at no cost to you. Unlimited time, unlimited mileage, but it's only at Lonnie Cobb Ford in Henderson, where cars really are cheaper in the country.
And we are back at Hub City Deli. Coach Brian Bullard with me. Coach Will Reichard has been here. He'll be back for another segment. But we have what I think is one of the finest young men, and we've got a lot of them. And especially since it's 8th grade night, we want to emphasize, get out there and support these young men in the 8th grade. Some of them will even possibly get a uni, although we got a pretty solid group in the high school, but we probably got a few extra uniforms hanging around this year. Some will be getting ready for basketball and all that, but they're 2-0. In theory, they should be 3-0, but they won a practice game that was more like a game-type situation. And COVID has affected all. It wasn't us that was sick, though. The other team couldn't play, and they did a good job. But Mason Vaughn, let me tell you a little bit about this young man. He's got 15 rushes for 287 yards. He's already scored 7 TDs, which is more than some people score in a whole career. And of course, he's got 2 defensive touchdowns in his middle school football team. And, Coach, I left something out. What did I leave out? Because I tried to do that from memory.
He's 5 of 7, 129 yards passing with 1 touchdown.
That's what it was.
Yes, sir.
The passing is very important. Which one you like to do better, run with it or throw it, Mason?
I like running with it.
Well, he likes running. Mason, I'm going to start out. I'm going to let you tell a little bit about yourself, how long you've played football, et cetera, like that. When did you start at Jackson Christian School?
I started playing football in 6th grade in Jackson Christian, and I've been going to Jackson Christian since kindergarten.
That's a good thing. Y'all got a great kindergarten program. Now, that, when you were in the kindergarten program, I think it's still over at the Campbell Street Church of Christ, right?
We have our pre-K. One of our pre-K locations is at
Okay.
Campbell Street, and then our kindergarten's on our main campus.
Well, at the time that my
It could have been,
granddaughter,
though.
who's 14 now, it was all over there.
Yeah.
She loved Jack. There is nothing like Jackson Christian pre-K and kindergarten too. That is great. Now, which one you rather do, throw it or pass? I mean, run it.
I'd rather run than pass.
Rather run than pass. Do we have another tailback here, or?
I
Of
don't
course,
know.
he's pretty good at quarterback. Those are stats that, I've coached some quarterbacks before, and for the amount of time in middle school, folks, they don't have as much time in middle school to do. What's your favorite drill?
Favorite drill we do is probably, so we just run go routes. So
Okay.
Little pat and go action.
pat and
Yeah.
go, that's what it's called.
Like to wind up, I call it throwing the javelin if you ever listen to
Yeah.
the broadcast. And I don't think you really ought to throw javelins at people. That might be painful. Tell us about your team, about your teammates and the camaraderie. And y'all are 2-0 in theory, should be 3-0. It's got to be great playing middle school football.
Yes, sir. Well, our O-line's really good. I couldn't run like I do without them. And same with our defensive line. They do a lot of the work, and it's fun playing with them.
It really coaching staff are some good guys too.
Oh, yes, sir.
Coach Wyatt,
Coaches.
I know, and then if there's a better statistician in the world, and that right there, one of my favorite human beings just walked into the restaurant, and that is Chuck Ray. Y'all got a great coaching staff.
Yes, sir.
You know what's even better? You get to go to another set of great guys next year.
Yes, sir.
These are all fun, and you know what's good at Jackson Christian? Y'all all work together. Now, what did you have to work the hardest on this summer?
This summer, I worked on my arm strength and just ball placement.
Okay, that is good. Have you done any? You're quick enough, but have you done anything to even increase that quickness?
Yes, sir, I did. I worked out at Sports Plus this summer.
That is very good. Now, Coach, I don't know this, and this is for my information there, but are y'all lifting? I know you don't lift the same as the high school, but does Coach Irvin have control of their weight program, or they come into it?
The weight program, he'll really pick it up in the 9th grade and this off season when he's not in another sport. He'll start being a part of our varsity lifting program shortly. So right now it's just 9 through 12, but he'll still get some of that. And this kid works on his own, so he's going to find time to get his body right too, Coach.
I have heard that. Coach, you got a question for him before I start with some more, 2 or 3 that you'd like to ask?
For me, I watch him play basketball. I watch him play football, and he does both really well. Mason, which one do you prefer if you have a favorite?
Oof. I like them both, but it really just depends on what season it is. If it's basketball season, basketball, football season, football.
That's a good answer, and that keeps your coaches happy too. You
makes all
don't
good.
have to pick a favorite. I like that. That's a good answer.
Now, Coach Chase, has he asked you to play baseball?
He has.
I thought so.
Yep.
I know Chase.
We still work on him. You played a lot of baseball growing up too, so we won't shut the door on that one, Coach. But he's a great 2-sport athlete for us, and we're proud to have him.
Now, you know you're sitting beside the guy that still holds some records at Freed Hardman, even though Josh Sears tried to rub him out of the
Yes,
book
sir.
last year. Now, let's you like those sports. One of my favorite questions, because we're not at Jackson Christian just to play football, basketball, or baseball. We're there to get the all-around education. You've got some of the finest coaches in the world who not only teach you football or basketball or whatever, they teach you about life and stuff. What's your favorite Bible quote?
My favorite Bible verse is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength.
Amen to that. I love that, and it's very truthful if people will analyze it right and all that. Favorite class at school?
Favorite class is science.
Science. Who's your favorite teacher?
Favorite teachers.
And no, we can't use football coaches. I do rule that out. So
No football coaches,
We don't
okay.
start anything.
Probably Miss Stephanie Christensen. She teaches math.
Teaches math. Math is hard, and trust me. And what do you want to be? And it's early in your life. You may change a couple of times, but right now, if you didn't go to the NFL or play in the NBA or something like that, what would you be doing if you were an adult?
Probably a physical therapist like my parents are.
See, that's what I love about this school. Everybody has good goals, high goals, things that are worthwhile that contribute to society. And who are some heroes? And they don't necessarily have to be sports heroes, but who are some people that have, or you can include them, you can name several that's been influential in your life. And like I said, sometimes I think we toss the word hero around a little loose, but who are some people that have helped you out?
Well, definitely my parents there, and my granddad is a really good guy. He's always in the church a lot. Sets a good example for me.
Your granddad is here tonight, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
He is. Mom helps a little bit, and I know your dad does because I know your dad. He's an active guy. But we need to give moms credit because without them, because I bet you haven't ever washed your uniform or anything, have you?
No, sir.
Mom does the dirty work.
Oh, yeah.
She's kind of like that offensive, defensive line coach. You got to get down there and get in the dirt.
Absolutely.
Do some things like that. What's your favorite sports movie?
Probably The Blind Side.
Which is a very good one, Michael Orr. And, of course, we were on the field the other night where The Blind Side was shot, and
Yes,
right
sir.
there in Memphis. And what's your goal for next year when you get up with the varsity?
My goal is to just keep good grades and just maybe get some playing time as a freshman.
Now, there are young men playing in the elementary school, and I know some of them listen, and I know their parents are listening. You got any advice for the young people coming up behind you?
Just keep working hard and just keep good grades.
Okay. Now, Coach, you got any other questions for him?
I don't have a question for him, but I would like to just comment on Mason. And you wouldn't really know what if anything's going good or it's going bad because his poise is what makes him special as much as anything. And I love that about a kid. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and he just plays the game. And he scores a touchdown, he gets the ball back to the official. He scores in basketball, he gives his teammates credit. And that's the kind of guys that we can win with and the kind of guys that we love to have in all of our programs. And family's great and contribute however they can. And this is just we wanted to get him on the show. And stats aside, he's a leader. And he's going to continue to be that for us. And we're excited about the future for him.
And we're not worried about the stats with Mason. He's one of those guys, like the two young men to my right, he makes things happen.
Absolutely.
And the stats are irrelevant. He's going to make it happen for the good of the team. Mason, we have a tradition. It is your turn to say anything, not just the Jackson Christian fans out there. There are people all over listening. Matter of fact, John Rawl, and I'm mentioning John because he's one of the good guys. He made a special trip out here tonight to see this, and we got all people coming in and out of Hub City. Anything you want to say to the folks about your team or just advice? It's your turn.
Just thanks for supporting us, and yeah.
That is great because that's what it's all about. I know that the young men at Jackson Christian are very good about thanking the fans for coming and supporting them, and they didn't have to be forced to do that. They do that because they do appreciate y'all. We've got a great school. We're here at a great place, Hub City Deli. They got brisket. Coach and he ordered a hamburger tonight, which is one of my favorite things. You don't think about a deli having hamburgers. They've got great ones. I'm waiting for the Piggy Sue to come back. That's the one where they grill 2 pork chops, put the molasses sauce on there, and anything else you want. They'll customize it your way. And I see our young men to my right have already destroyed their sandwiches and stuff. When we come back after a 2-minute break, we are going to Coach, who are we going to take first?
We'll go ahead and talk to Cedric Anderson first, Coach.
Cedric Anderson is up and ready to go in 2 minutes on the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show. We'll be back after this time.
Good job, dude.
Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction. Located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in team sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour, and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your team sports. You can email or call us for all your team sports needs. Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction.
Man, there's a new salon in Jackson, Race Clips, on South Highland, next door to Roland Safety and Supply. Whether it's a quick trim or a new look, Race Clips stylists can transform you to perfection. At Race Clips, you'll find all the products to keep you looking your best. Active duty military, veterans, and law enforcement officers receive a discount. Open Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, 9 to 3 on Saturday. Race Clips on South Highland, Jackson. Go to race-clips.com.
Hello, I'm Wes Harris with State Farm Insurance. My customers love the fact that they can call me or my team members anytime. So when they're in an accident on the bypass with somebody that doesn't have insurance, or they come out of the grocery store and somebody's backed into their car and has not left a note, or they come home and there's a tree on the roof, or maybe water pouring out their front door, they call a local agent, somebody that they know. So call me, Wes Harris, with State Farm Insurance, located right here on Van Drive in Jackson.
Football looks fun. I bet I would have been great at it. The first football playing deer, they would have made a movie about me and everything. Probably get Kurt Russell to play me. But alas, me and my dreams run right over again.
For fast, reliable collision repair, trust the experts at Mitchell's Body Shop. And get back out there.
And we are back at Hub City Deli, where we've got the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show here. And remind you of some of these people that helped bring you Jackson Christian Football: Man's Wrecker, Deaton's Carpet One, Snookum Steakhouse, Kimberly Evans with Hickman Realtors, Dynamics Physical Therapy, Lonnie Cobb Auto, Great American Sports, and of course Wesley works there, but Ben Vargason, who is a big Jackson Christian supporter, the owner there, and he gave us our shirts. Race Clips Men's Hair Salon, and Wes Harris State Farm, who brings us the first downs, the replays, Mitchell's Body Shop, Southern Family Dentistry, and I'm going to give some of you listeners some good news. We're supposed to have internet. Harding does have internet, and that helps with the replays. Makes it a little tougher when you're on the jetpack and you're getting set up and you have to get the bugs worked out, but we're going to have that. Now I'm going to turn it over to Coach Bullard because the young man will vouch for it. I'm too excited because, man, he was all over the place. I thought he was a sprinter chasing people. But, Coach Bullard, it's your turn to introduce a guest.
Coach, we've got Cedric Anderson with us tonight. And Cedric is an anchor in the middle of our defense, and he's getting better and better each week. And he was a guy that played for us a lot as a freshman and got thrown into the fire and had to go up against the likes of Davidson Academy, Nashville Christian, USJ, all those guys that are have great offensive lines, and he didn't waver, he didn't complain, he gave it everything he's got, and we knew coming into this year, seeing how he changed his body and how he got stronger and a little bit faster, he was going to have a good year. And right now, we are proud of him and his effort and the year he's having there for in the middle of our defense.
Man, we are glad to have Cedric. I was impressed, and I agree with Coach. You get better every time out there. Now, most of the time, though, and Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, I know he plays more, but you can play zero technique most of the time, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever like for him and drop a hint to stick you down in the gap and let you fire off? Cedric's quick. For a big man, he is quicker than you would think he would be.
And, Coach, he played, I think it was the North Point game, he was playing outside at tackle some.
That's right.
And
Y'all did
moved outside a little bit there.
Yes,
and he can do a little bit of everything, and he's going to be able to just get better for us, and we're proud of him.
Now, you had to log a little longer minutes this past Friday night because Brandon had to take some time off. He was in his jersey, but no pads and couldn't play the other night. And you did good, my friend. Tell us about that game, other than we all don't care about the losing. Well, we do, but anyway, that's past us. Your thoughts on the contest the other night?
It was a really good game. It was hard fought, but things just happen. Calls and everything just happens.
Now, we're refocused on Harding Academy, right?
Yes, sir.
Watch a little tape.
Yes, sir.
You ready to get them and make about 10 tackles this week?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Nobody runs up the middle, right?
Nah.
Cedric could handle that. Now, let's meet Cedric up close and personal. How long you been playing football, Cedric?
Since the 7th grade.
Since the 7th grade. So, late comer and has done well in a short amount of time. How long you been at Jackson Christian?
I came here my freshman year.
Freshman year.
Yes, sir.
And a good place to go. Favorite subject?
Math.
Math. I'm impressed.
Okay. I didn't know that about Ced, but that's awesome. I didn't know he was a math
impressed,
guy.
Cedric. Now, other than the football coaches, because we don't want to get them wrestling and stuff like that, or arm wrestling or anything among themselves. Who's your favorite teacher at Jackson Christian?
I'm about to go with probably Coach Wyatt.
Okay, that's a good one. And that's a good choice because the bad thing, or the good thing, really, I shouldn't say bad thing. Good thing is there's a lot of fine teachers, whether it be English. And I just found out that Coach Rickard teaches English, and I have to kind of straighten my grammar up a little bit, because sometimes there'll be an ain't. You know, they used to say don't say ain't because ain't right. Favorite food outside of school, and then I'm going to ask you about school food. What's your favorite food there is?
I say probably baked chicken.
Baked chicken. This young man is, you know, Cedric, I'm going to compliment you, because a lot of guys, first thing that comes out of their mouth, pizza.
I don't really eat pizza.
Baked chicken. This I can tell someday. Today, Edward Lee Too Tall Jones was in town.
You know that's my cousin.
Then that means you're kin to Mal Matthews, too, then.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, Mal is the son of the late Red Matthews, who used to coach at JCM. Too Tall, have you ever thought about taking yoga? He says that is the way. And he's almost in as good a shape, maybe better in some as he was when he was in football playing in the NFL. You ever thought about eating yoga?
Sometimes. I know we do it.
I was going to say, tell them about the Yoga Wednesdays.
On
You
Wednesdays.
got it tomorrow now, don't you?
Yes, sir.
I am impressed with you and the school. This is a young man with a lot of physical strength. God blessed him with some size and stuff. He is using it. And see, that's the whole thing, because God expects us to use those things, don't they, Cedric?
Yes, sir.
That is good. Now, do you play any other sports besides football?
I played basketball when I was young.
I bet you can still play the game. Can you post up? I bet you also shoot the three, though, don't you?
That's my main thing. I love shooting.
You love shooting. Coach Bullard, your turn to ask a couple of questions.
He's not lying now. I see him in PE picking up the balls and shooting the three. Said, what's been the biggest difference for you coming in as a freshman, playing a lot, to this year as a sophomore? What's been the biggest difference?
Really is having to take, like, leadership, having to start, the first snap of the ball, all types of things.
So he's mentioned having to start, and Brandon coming into the year had some shoulder issues and was able to give us some time, and then hurt that other shoulder recently. And so said had to kind of take over that starting nose guard position. And like I said, Coach, he's done well and hasn't wavered. And he goes out every night. And when you mentioned it the other night, him playing more snaps, and every week he plays more and more snaps. And that was a challenge for him, excuse me, last year, was the conditioning a little bit. But he's it's hard to get him off the field now. And I'm proud of him for that too.
Now you want to play a little offense too, Cedric?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna try to do that next year.
Next
play
year,
both ways.
And this young man, I love him to death. He has the right attitude. What's your favorite thing about competing at Jackson Christian School?
Yeah, I say domination.
Domination, boy. Y'all got this thing going now. The football season, we lost a tough one, but we're going to move on to the next game. What's your focus for Harding Academy? And I know you've been watching some film and practicing.
They like to run a lot of QB sneaks, so I'm going to try to read that. And if they try to run them a gap, it's a tackle.
Would you like to have the lineman's dream and scoop a fumble and run it one day?
Yes, sir.
I like this young man. Okay, now what's your favorite sports movie?
The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. Now, which version, though? There's two versions. One with Burt Reynolds playing the character, and the other one with Adam Sandler playing the same character.
Adam Sandler.
Okay, he's an Adam Sandler. I'm an old guy. I've watched, but Adam Sandler's great.
I watched both. But
you have watched both of them. Adam has a whole different take on it. Now, Bert's in the Adam Sandler version.
Yes,
and some good thing, and like we mentioned with Mason the other night, you played on the same field that Michael Orr, he didn't play his game, but the movie about him, and that was the field they filmed that on because, I don't need to – I know why it wasn't filmed at the real field over there, but that it still did well. Now, you can say Too Tall is kin to you.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to play in the NFL one day like he did?
Yes, sir.
And it's really a great – if you don't play in the NFL, don't make it any other sport, what will Cedric be doing when he's an adult? What will he be, a lawyer or what?
Well, either I'm going to be a plumber, mechanic, or engineer.
And you know what, Coach? He just hit me. Had I not, I went to law school and I didn't flunk out. I became a teacher and a coach. you know what my next job was? I wanted to be a plumber. Those dudes make all kinds of money.
Yeah, they do.
They really do.
That's what my granddad is.
And you have to learn that. You have to learn your math because you still got to – see, people don't realize the education you get at Jackson Christian can take you into any field that you want to go. Now, have you got a favorite Bible quote?
Philippians 4:13.
And that is a great one to have, and I admire you for that. And got to ask this, because sometimes linemen like to listen to music before the ball game. You got any favorite music you listen to before the ball game?
Not really.
Not really. You just focus on the ball game.
Yes, sir.
Coach, you got anything for this outstanding young man?
I'm just happy that he is an Eagle, and he came to us a couple of years ago, and like I said, gotten better and better. And you asked him before if he was a junior, and he's just a sophomore with his best football left ahead of him. And I'm excited in 2 years to see what kind of opportunities Cedric Anderson has and where he wants to go. And if he keeps working on his body and getting everything right, Coach, I think he'll have a lot of opportunities. And we're happy just to be a part of that and help him however we can. Yeah,
in about 7 or 8 years, if you need an agent, I will be glad. Cedric will make some money. Cedric, we have a tradition. It's your turn to say anything to the Jackson Christian fans or all the fans, because we got other people, just like I told you. We've had guests from other schools in tonight, and they came for the good food, but some of them came to see what Jackson Christian's doing. John Rawls was here, who works at Grace Broadcasting, who also carries our games on radio. We've actually not only got our Facebook hookup at school, we are getting a little radio out of it, and it's your turn to say anything you want to the fans.
We're going to compete, dominate, just play our game of football.
Absolutely. I do have, and I'm going to get out of order because I left one of my questions. I'm doing it all from memory tonight because I didn't stick it in my phone like I usually do, the order of things. Who's been an influence in your life? And you can name several people. They could be a sports hero. It could be mom and dad. It could be too tall or whatever.
Really, my grandfather.
Okay. Grandfather's seems like a great guy. Can I meet him one day?
Yes, sir.
I want you tell him to come up and see me at the booth, and hopefully – maybe we'll get him on the air, too. You think he'd like to be on the air?
Maybe. I could convince him.
You could. That's a positive young man, and we are positive at Jackson Christian. Definitely. We're going to take our last 2-minute timeout, and when we come back, great job tonight. We are going to come back, and you're going to like this young man, too. Carson McKee. Maybe you don't hear as much as you think, but if you go back and listen to the broadcast, he's always right. It's like this young man. He knows where the football is. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout here at the deli and be back with Jackson Christian.
Southern Family Dentistry's dental laser technology is a game changer for those who experience dental anxiety. Southern Family Dentistry provides a relaxing environment to ensure a pleasant visit every time. From a simple cleaning to full dental reconstruction and now prepless veneers, they're there when you need them. Dr. Nathan Nash will treat your family like he wants his family treated. Check them out on Facebook or call 300-4545. Southern Family Dentistry. We want to make you smile.
This could be a true story. On October 3rd, a 2003 hatchback struck and killed a deer that goes by the name Buck. I know, right? He now has Buck's head proudly displayed on his living room wall. He tells a different story.
Shot it.
No, he didn't.
And to hide his lie, he took his car to Mitchell's Body Shop.
No, I didn't.
Yes, he did. And lucky for him, they made it look good as new. And as for Buck, the story continues.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Wes Harris in Jackson today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And we are back on the Jackson Christian Football Recap Show here at Hub City Deli, home of all of those great deli sandwiches and the hamburger. It is my pleasure to turn it back over to Coach Brian Bullard for a young man who, like Cedric, has excited me because he's going to be around the action. There used to be a show where the action is. That could be this young man. But here's Coach Bullard.
Coach, we have Carson McKee for our last player tonight. And Carson is a kid that we were sitting around this summer, and Darby, Coach Palmer said we got a kid coming in that plays football that's going to tour, and they're moving in from out of state. And so I was actually a part of that and got to meet his family and got to meet him. And we were fortunate that he decided to come to our school. And what a blessing it's been. Offensive starter, defensive starter. Can't get him off the field. Got to drag him off the field. And we are proud to have senior Carson McKee with us tonight.
And Carson, glad to have you here. And we do it a little different. We want folks to know about you. And something I'm going to start incorporating, and you're the first one. Should have. Tell them your number so they know who to look for on the field. Tell them what grade you're in, and like I said, where you came from.
I'm number 75 on the field. I'm from Illinois. Before that, I was in Texas. And what was the other question?
The grade you in?
Oh, I'm a senior.
He is a senior. And we'd love to keep him for another year, but they won't let us, which changed the line of questioning a little bit, and I knew where I was going with that. Would you like to continue on and play somewhere next year?
I haven't really thought about it that much. I don't plan to, but if the opportunity comes up, I would take it.
A very wise decision on that. What about favorite subject at Jackson Christian?
I'd probably go with math. I'm pretty good at it, so I like it.
We got some scholarly people on this team.
Some smart kids, Coach.
Now, you can't use the football coaches, but who's your favorite teacher at school other than the coaches?
Coach Hooper is a coach. I'd probably go with Mr. Teichman.
Very good. Kyle, I remember when he was a young player. It hadn't been that long ago. And but anyway, okay, we getting serious. What are your plans for the future as far if you don't play football in the future? And obviously that means you're probably not going to the NFL. Well, you could. This guy's got size, he's got desire, he's got a lot of things. What are you going to be in the future?
I don't have a set thing that I've figured out that I wanted to do, but I've thought about multiple fields. I've thought about the engineering field. I've thought about like the trades, like welding and stuff like that. I've also thought about military and police officer.
I think you'd be a good candidate to get your stuff together. You're an athlete. Go to West Point or the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy. And, of course, you have to go to Quantico if you want to be a Marine. My friend Joe Gracie's probably angry with me now because I didn't mention the Marines in there, but Quantico is where they get some of their training. Now, favorite drill and favorite part of practice for you at Jackson Christian?
Favorite drill. I just like all around like team time, just going at each other, either first team O or scout, doesn't matter. I just like, it's just the best part of practice for me.
Teams are a big part of it at Jackson Christian, especially this year. We've always had a good commitment since Coach Palmer's come on, but it's a little different. It feels like y'all are really together this year. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, it would.
It would. Coach, you got a couple of questions for Carson?
The main one for me is moving to a new place, and this is not the first time you moved. Who's been a big impact on your move here? Maybe it's a teammate, maybe it's a coach. Who's really helped you with that and made you feel a part of the family?
I'd probably say there'd be a couple. Campbell is really accepted me for like just being a good friend and everything, and then CJ, I mean, he's invited me to his church and to the youth group through that church. and it's just been really good.
Which one did you rather do, block or tackle?
Tackle.
You get to show aggression and things like that. Favorite food?
Probably steak.
Favorite sports movie?
Sports movie? I'd either go with Remember the Titans or The Blind Side. One of the two.
Very good. Excellent choices. And I'm not going to ruin it like I did last week for some people. I happen to actually know Ronnie Bass, the real one, not the TV one or movie one. But your favorite Bible quote?
1 Peter 5:6.
Excellent choice. All of our young men have had good choices. And the thing is, folks, they live these choices of Bible verse and things like it. Favorite thing about Jackson Christian School?
Probably just with moving here, the acceptance that everybody's had. Nobody's really pushed me away, I would say, but I don't know. I've only been at the school for a little while, so
It's a good place and friendly place. The sports that we forgot to ask you, what other sports do you play besides football?
I throw, shot put, and discus and track.
Wow. Now, Coach Palmer coached the track team, or is somebody else?
Coach Irv, Coach Palmer.
Okay.
Yes, and then so he'll be doing that in the spring. So we're excited about that as well.
Oh, it definitely, and we are glad that you're here. Obviously, moving around can be tough.
Yeah.
I have several friends who are career people in the military, et cetera, like that, and I know their kid. It's tough on them, but seems like you've made a great adjustment. We're glad you're here. Coach, you got any other thing before we give him the final question there?
We're just, like I said, I mentioned bringing him on. We're just proud that he and his family chose to come to Jackson Christian, and we're blessed to have him on both sides of the ball, but also blessed to have him in the locker room. He's a guy that'll jump in there on scout team and play. And like I said, you can't get him off the field in practice or a game, and he's what we're looking for in a football player, but also as a teammate.
He's one of those guys that needs the word team in big letters and the word me in little bitty letters, because that's the way he plays it. Carson, it's your turn to say anything to the people that are listening out there, be Jackson Christian fans, but we got more than that listening to you tonight. So your final words.
Come to our games. It's a good time.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
Go.
You see why he's a fine young man. He's thoughtful. Glad to have him here. We're going to take just a 1-minute timeout this time, Gary, a 1-minute timeout, and come back with Coach Bullard and Coach Rickard to wrap up the Jackson Christian recap show tonight.
Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction. Located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in teen sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour, and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your teen sports. You can email or call us for all your teen sports needs. Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction.
Man, there's a new salon in Jackson, Race Clips, on South Highland, next door to Roland Safety and Supply. Whether it's a quick trim or a new look, Race Clips stylists can transform you to perfection. At Race Clips, you'll find all the products to keep you looking your best. Active duty military, veterans, and law enforcement officers receive a discount. Open Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, 9 to 3 on Saturday. Race Clips on South Highland, Jackson. Go to race-clips.com.
Hello, I'm Wes Harris with State Farm Insurance. My customers love the fact that they can call me or my team members anytime. So when they're in an accident on the bypass with somebody that doesn't have insurance, or they come out of the grocery store and somebody's backed into their car and has not left a note, or they come home and there's a tree on the roof, or maybe water pouring out their front door, they call a local agent, somebody that they know. So call me, Wes Harris, with State Farm Insurance, located right here on Van Drive in Jackson.
We are back here at Hub City Deli, and we thank them for letting us be here and have this show. And I believe the show's now going to be pretty regular on Tuesday night. We've had to move it back and forth. Coach, the other thing, and I'm catching Coach Bullard off guard, how did the JV game go last night? That was something that needs to be talked
Absolutely. Coach, we forgot to mention that. We won 8-0 and had some really great performances from some young guys and some guys that we thought we could count on. We just haven't really seen them in a game situation, and we got to do that last night. And it was a great night. Those are always fun, getting those young guys in there and some guys that busted every day in practice and deserve some game time and play under the lights. And we appreciate Christian Brothers coming over to play us and ended up coming out on top in a running clock type situation. So,
yeah, and folks, that's Christian Brothers from Division II 3A, one of the most storied programs in the history of this state in football. Now, we've got more football action coming up Thursday night, Coach.
Yes, Thursday night. You come on out to our 8th grade night. We're going to honor those 8th graders against Gibson County. They're 2-0 and have a quality football team, and we're excited to get another opportunity to watch them. That's our guys come out, our varsity guys come out, run the chains, run the concession, do all that. Our coaches help out with that, help out in the booth, all those things, and really try to make those guys feel appreciated and excited to be a part of Eagle football in the future for them.
Well, they should be, because I was impressed the night I was there.
Yes, sir.
Now, Coach Reichard, we've got to play your alma mater. What do we got to do to beat them and give us between you and Coach Bullard, y'all can get the particulars and make sure, because we want as many of you to follow the team to Memphis can. What do we got to do to beat these guys?
I think this week is mainly about us playing our brand of football, going out, executing, doing our job. I think if we do that, we're going to like the result on Friday. If we focus on us, we don't worry too much about the opponent. And that's what we preach to our guys all the time anyway. And I think if we do that and we stay focused, and again, 3:30 kickoff, you worry about, our guys going to be focused. It's a variation from routine. But I think this group of guys, anytime they've been challenged with adversity, like St. George not having a locker room, anything like that, they've responded incredibly well. So I'm optimistic about us maintaining our focus, not looking ahead to next week, and going out and getting the W on Friday.
Doing what you have to do when you have to do it, and doing it that way all the time.
Exactly.
You know what that spells out? Discipline, and that's what we have at Jackson Christian. And folks, we're not talking about paddling people discipline. We're talking about action. To be a good human being, you've got to be disciplined in life. Coaches, both of you get a final statement. Coach Bullard, your turn to say anything you want to say tonight.
I think Coach mentioned it, and it's 3:30 on Friday, and we would love to have as many people as we can, students, everybody traveling. If you can, obviously check out the broadcast with Coach and his crew, and they do a great job with that. But it's our 5th opportunity to go out together as a team, and we're excited about that. And we got 2 more days, good work day tomorrow and a good run through on Thursday, and get the guys in uniform on Friday. We're excited.
Absolutely. Coach Wright, your turn.
I'll say this. I know a lot of people listening to this have probably been a part of the Jackson Christian family for a while. But as a relative newcomer, I've just been blown away by how much support and how much of a family atmosphere this program is. Just the job that Darby does, from all the coaches, from the administration, how much support they give us. It's unbelievable to be a part of this Jackson Christian family. And I know that me and my wife, we've been so blessed just to be a part of this. And I'm so incredibly thankful to be here. We can't take for granted what we have here. It really is a special program. Coach Palmer is a special coach. Coach Shelton does a great job supporting the football program, all the way up to Dr. Benton. So we've got something really special going on here, and just to be able to continue to build it. We've talked a lot about middle school. Just they're part of that family too, and it's just such a blessing to just be involved in that.
We build good young people. Would that be a fair statement?
I agree with that. And I'm going to throw this out there. He just mentioned Dr. Benton. That's going to be my goal for next week. We're going to try to get him out here with us and join us on the show. So we'll kind of put the challenge out there for him.
I'm going to up the challenge.
Okay.
Now, Dr. Benton, once upon a time there was a young man named Jerry Eskew that used to work. Jerry Eskew has been on the radio with me before.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. Benton, we expect to see you in the next couple of weeks.
There we go.
Let me throw this out.
Yes, sir.
Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. 1-3. So we owe Harding a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
Last meeting, unfortunately, they beat us 38-7. And our last win against them was, back in 2009?
Yes, sir.
And that's all right. We're going to show up. We're going to play. We're going to play Jackson Christian football. and we're going to do that. I'm going to remind you, Tacker Nash is the Southern Capital Player of the Week, and that's given to the Jackson Christian Player of the Game each week. It is voted on, as we told you earlier, by our Twitter followers, and we appreciate the crowd here. Let me remind you, Jackson Christian's Facebook, you can see the game. The Booster Club Facebook, you can see the game. Paul Schultze will have it on the Ball Game Blitz or Worthy Road Studios Facebook. Now, we won't have radio this time because of the time of day it is. That could be, but even Grace Broadcasting will give us a link. They'll take the feed from Jackson Christians and put it on their link on the WNWS.com page. So you can't miss the ball game.
Yes,
you can
sir.
get it somewhere, but try the school site. We want to pile the hits up and show that you appreciate them. The people that I mentioned that were sponsors, please tell them you appreciate them bringing you Jackson Christian football and other sports. But I want you also to come down here to Hub City Deli. These people are very kind to us. They let us have this show here. They feed the young men, which is great every week, and that is good. And I'm also going to, he probably will get me for saying this, but our varsity quarterback's dad is here tonight, Grant Boykin, and Grant's a big football fan and all that. Sometimes I think he would love to play for Gage sometime, have Gage do his job, but we've got a family, and family is important. So all you Jackson Christian fans, let's take care of our family Friday and every night. And coaches, without further ado, unless y'all can think of something else, I've got two things I have to say. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or further use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Jackson Christian and Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. Thanks for your time this time. Till next time, good night all.